Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Small Talk. My guest today, well, there's a number of things he does, but he is an award-winning actor. He's a writer, a comedian, and a business owner. I don't know when he has time to do all of that, so we're going to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, time to meet Michael Coleman. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I mean, there's so much to talk about, you know.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your acting first. So when did you begin acting?
That's a really good question. I would say, I've been asked that a few times over the years, and I would say where I really began acting, or where I fell in love with the craft, was in the fourth grade when I played a character called the Dump Monster in a play where I played the Dump Monster in a play called The Dump Monster. And my mother made me a dump monster costume out of an old cardboard box and strips of newspaper, which were my hair. And I just fell in love with entertaining and the craft of storytelling. And I was really fortunate to have some really cool people throughout my years that helped mature that love and appreciation for it.
Now, did you do that before acting, before stand-up?
Yeah, stand-up came very late in life. My comedy was always a very personal thing, and mostly reserved for my living room with my three younger brothers. And then I found myself finding a louder voice as I got older. And then I did it for a period of time. I guess right at the tail end of high school into my early 20s is when I really focused primarily on live performing.
Right. Very good. Now, was it while you were doing stand-up that you got to meet Robin Williams?
Yeah, it was. I was, so many years ago. He was filming a movie called Jumanji at the time. Mm-hmm. And Robin had a wonderful reputation for popping into stand-up clubs and either just being amongst comedians or jumping on stage and staying sharp whenever he was out of town filming. And I was fortunate that one night I was on stage performing. And then had the opportunity to hang out with him backstage. He didn't perform that night, but he hung out backstage with the comedians, and we all bent his ear, and he made everybody feel like an equal. And he heavily influenced who I am today in that one brief meeting of a few hours backstage.
Very nice. What a nice memory to have.
It's a beautiful You know what? I can tell you one of the things that I love is I got to. I think Robin was one of those performers that so many people have a cherished memory from either a stand-up or a movie or a TV show. But I actually have a vivid memory of just being eye to eye, face to face, and the kindness and the humanity in his eyes as he spoke to you. It made you feel like you were the only person in the room. It's a really beautiful quality and it spoke volumes to the kind of person he was.
Very nice. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Also, you've done improv, correct?
I did a lot of improv when I was younger. Yeah, I still do improv now. I guess I do it and I teach it, but not at the same level as some of my friends who are quite accomplished. So I enjoy improv. I enjoy storytelling. So yeah, it's something I enjoy it very much. It's a lot of fun.
No, I've done both as well, improv and stand-up. Okay. And personally, I prefer the improv because you don't have lines to remember. Do you have a preference?
Yeah, you know what? I actually always, it's funny. I would say I prefer scripted ensemble pieces. I find it one of the reasons I left stand-up is I always felt I like comedic performing, but I always found it really awkward to be staring in front of a group of people and then just waiting for me to say the funny thing. And I'm like, this is the weirdest conversation I've ever been in. And so, I mean, granted, I did it when I was younger. I probably have a different connection to it now. But I also feel really cool. Like a lot of the stand-ups that were friends of mine growing up have all gone on to very accomplished careers. And I like that I still get to be funny with my professional stand-up friends and I don't have the pressure of the audience.
For sure. Now let's get back to your acting again. Yeah. Tell me some of the things that you've been acted in.
Yeah. So some of the, I'm an actor who works I'm not tall enough, smart enough, or handsome enough to just do one thing. So I have to act in a lot of different things. It's the only way I can survive. So I've acted in video games and cartoons and movies and TV shows and commercials. So I've done literally hundreds of commercials, which have always been fun because I'll start with that because it always feels like the one that nobody ever talks about. But, one of my favorite commercials was about 20 years ago, I did a commercial with like Britney Spears and NSYNC, and that was a lot of fun. And, I remember I did a commercial with Ashley Judd, and that wasn't fun. And I have all these great memories of doing all these great fun things or campaigns.
Yeah.
In cartoons, I was one of the X-Men. I was
I love it.
Sunspot, and I ended up becoming, I had an opportunity to meet and hang out with Stan Lee, which was really cool. And then I did a lot of like Dragon Ball Z and Inuyasha and Hamtaro and Hello Kitty and all these wonderful anime projects that were really cool. And video games, I did like something called Far Cry and Gundam. On camera and TV, I did Supernatural and Smallville and Once Upon a Time and 2 of the Stargates. So I've had a busy, eclectic career. And again, you have to, if you're not going to be smart, handsome, or talented, you got to do everything.
Now, you also, you wrote, and let's see, where is it? I saw that where you wrote and starred in an or I'm not sure if this is still going on or not, modern sitcom Hipsterverse.
I did, yeah. I created a series with a gentleman, a couple gentlemen, Fergal, David, and Dylan, the 3 of them plus myself. I came in late, and we created a series, and we're getting ready to film a 2nd season of that. So it's a fun little cross-generational show about how the world's divided, and the one thing that unites us all is coffee. So it's fun. It's got a little bit of the cringe style humor of like a Parks and Rec or The Office or things like that. So it's something that's really passionate. It's my style of, out of everything I've done, it's probably the show I like watching the most, because I don't watch things I'm in, but I'd watch this.
Very good. Now you're the president and CEO at Story Institute.
Yeah. So it's I had a chance, like I said, to meet some really cool people like Robin, and one of the recurring messages I kept receiving every time I've met anybody who's had levels of success is, whatever you do in this life, if you have success, just make sure you pay it forward. So I feel really, really, the film and television industry has some of the best people and the worst people in the world, and nobody in the middle. And I feel really fortunate how many of the best people I've had a chance to meet. And all of them, it was like, if you have any success, you have to pay it forward. So we created an institution based on it's myself. There's another actor named Fred Awaniak from a show called Corner Gas, and there's a bunch of us who got together and we're like, we've had some success. Why don't we teach people what we did, and not just do the theory or what should work. Let's do what did work. Let's do what did work, is still working, and let's teach that.
Yeah.
So we created Story Institute, and that's a place where, it's fun. I watch TV shows now, and some of my favorite TV shows, I'm like, I taught that person. Oh my God, they're my favorite character on the show. Oh my God, that's so cool.
It is cool for sure. Now,
Yeah.
just talking about, paying it forward, I'm just thinking about you probably experienced this too, where sometimes you come across a fellow comedian or actor who somehow doesn't like to share the stage.
Yep.
For whatever reason. I always think there's room for everyone, right?
Sure. Yeah. It's fun. I love that you said it's my philosophy too. Like, I like pie. I love pie, but I should never have all the pie. I'm too short and it wouldn't sit well on my hips. So I always want my slice, but I always think pie is best when it's enjoyed with friends. So I think there's always enough pie for everybody.
Yeah. Like locally, like I do the show, I'm in Chile, I can do the show. There's somebody else who has another podcast, and we congratulate each other because our shows are different, know. So it just, like I said, there's room for everybody. There's no need to be jealous of somebody else's career, right?
It's so nice, isn't it, when you can like celebrate good things with good people, and you cheer for each other's successes, and somebody doesn't have to lose for you to win. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah,
for sure. Yes. Now tell me about Rebel West Pictures.
Okay. So Rebel West Pictures. So again, I feel really, really lucky, and I have a lot of appreciation for some of the franchises. I've worked on Hello Kitty, I've worked on X-Men, I've worked on Once Upon a Time. So I've worked on these really cool supernatural big shows with big followings. That was really cool. But I also have always been a passionate storyteller, and I have a voice that I also wanted to share with the world outside of some of the larger, bigger things that have different elements involved. so, the first project we launched with Rebel West Pictures was a show called 3017. And 3017 is basically a movie about a bunch of 37-year-olds who go back and do one more month of high school when they're ready at age 37. And I literally wrote this film the day after my 20th high school reunion when I was 37. And I felt like I went to my 20-year high school reunion and I'm like, oh my God, this is the first time I've actually spoken to all you as humans. I love you all so much more and so differently. Yeah. I really did want to go back to high school for one more month. I'm like, now I know you. We were children. We didn't know we.
Yeah. Oops. I think your camera froze for a minute there. But
okay.
It's okay. It's all good.
But yeah. So by creating Rebel West Pictures, it allowed me to create stories that meant something to me. And I'll be very grateful. Actually, in the movie 3017, in some of the background performances are some of my friends from my actual grad class. So I feel really, really fortunate that like I really have my friends from high school in my movie about what if we could all go back to high school.
Nice, very nice.
Very
and let's switch gears because
sure.
I know that according to your bio, you're involved with several charities, right?
I do, yeah. It's a big part of what I do.
Okay, so tell me about some of those charities.
Okay, so one of the charities that I'm going to give a little plug to my friends who connected me to this. So the people over at Main Street Brewing are really good friends of mine, and they introduced me to a charity called the Downtown Eastside Women's Center. So it's an association that I have had a connection to for many years now, and a lot of charities like this one get a lot of help around Christmas and those sorts of things. And this is something where I try to supplement a lot of the charitable opportunities in the other months of the year as well, so that there's some consistency for people that really need it. And I feel like one of my jobs as an actor is that I recreate the human experience. And I feel it's difficult to recreate the human experience if I don't exhibit human qualities with my day-to-day life. So I feel that my appreciation for people and this brief moment in time that I have on this rock is amplified when my humanity is amplified. So I really try to be the change I wish to see. I really do try to give everybody a chance. So Downtown Eastside Women's Center is one. I've had a couple autoimmune diseases that were pretty serious. So I work with the Guillain-Barré syndrome society or foundation internationally and federally. I had ulcerative colitis. So anytime I get sick, I get involved. So if you want me involved with your disease, make sure I get it because I'll be involved. And, but yeah, so there was some anti-bullying organizations that I participated in. Cancer has hit my family pretty hard, so I get involved with that. We work with the Autism Network quite a bit here at Story Institute. And yeah, we also at Story Institute, we have a lot of all of our students are encouraged to do something while they're here for their training for 6 months. So there's an incentive for them to also explore their humanity. And so we get involved with everything from the food bank to the SPCA to, sometimes people are just making sandwiches and bringing them downtown to people that need it. So it's, I don't know, there's so many different ways I could spend my time. I could be flipping through Instagram or playing Candy Crush, or I could listen to somebody who just needs me to lend them an ear. And I think that's more valuable to me and them.
Sure, for sure. Now, let's see now, you're also the founder of a post-secondary school?
That is the Story Institute. Yeah. So Story Institute, which we have kids programs, we have adult programs, and then we have a diploma program. And that's sort of our main focus.
Oh.
We teach people, we have a 6-month program that teaches people not just the craft of acting, but the business side of acting.
Yeah.
And like, that's where I'm really, I've had different students go to become, regulars or leads on like The 100 or My Little Pony, The Handmaid's Tale, all these really cool shows. And it's Riverdale and it's fun. So yeah, we created that program to help others have the same things I've got to enjoy.
Right, for sure. Yeah. Now, let's see. Now, there's something about what is Panto of the Rings. What is that?
I love that you brought that up. That is so wonderful. I fell in love with the traditional Christmas pastime of pantomime. So it's a big musical parody that happens at Christmas. It's really big in the UK and other parts of the world. We do it here in Canada as well. And I did it where when I was in elementary school and I was a young child, it was very different from what school kids get today. So we had a school choir when I was a child, and I think we had about 600 kids in our school. 5 of us were so bad at singing that we were not in the choir. We were put in something called lab. And so I had this real phobia of singing and a fear of it. And then when I became a grown-up, and that's still arguable, I decided that, you know what, I think I'm ready to sing. And I'm not only ready to sing, I think I'm going to write a big, monstrous musical. And then we ended up doing this thing for a couple of years where we wrote these award-winning musical parodies, and we put them on at Christmas time. And we parodied modern fairy tales like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. We did all these really epic, cool things with all my super cool musical theater friends. And I got to sing and dance and tell jokes, and it was a wonderful way to spend the holidays.
How marvelous is that?
Yeah, it's such a, it's so fun. And it's like, these pantomimes, for those who don't know, it's an audience participation thing. So it's one of the shows where the audience is encouraged to yell things at the actors on stage. And you have to be fast on your feet. And it's just such a wonderful form of theater, especially for those being introduced to theater. So
for sure. Now you're in Vancouver, North Vancouver, correct?
I am in North Vancouver. Yeah.
So most of what you do is involved in that area?
I would say, yeah. My studio is in Vancouver, and we're looking to open up. We're just in talks right now to open up different Story Institute locations throughout Western Canada, and we have some invitations to explore parts of California and over in the UK as well. But right now, I would say, the greatest role I've ever had of all time happens in North Vancouver, and that's where I'm a dad. And so that's where I spend most of my time when I'm not on TV or doing things, is actually probably spending time with my 2 daughters at a community pool swimming or something like that, or playing Kerplunk at the kitchen table. So
oh, very nice.
Yeah,
very nice. So can you mention their names so they'll know, hey, your name were mentioned on?
You know what? I never say their names because I never want them to have the pressure of dad's whatever the heck dad does with his silliness.
Okay. Hello, 2 little girls. I understand that. So now, because we're running out of time, I just want to know what, if anything, are you working on currently that you want to talk about?
Sure, I love that. I'm working on multiple things. I've been contracted to write some movies of the week. So I'm writing some movies of the week right now, which is a really fun thing for me. And it's one of those things that really appeals to a lot of different people. So it's nice to have a warm feeling, fuzzies for everybody of all walks of life. I'm still working on pre-production for Hipsterverse and doing a 2nd season of that. Right. In addition to that, I have 2 different feature films I'm developing, and then just working at Story Institute and trying to make sure that I can keep up with my kids in the swimming pool.
I talk to many people who are like you, have their hands in so many different things, and I do wonder how you manage to balance it all, especially like you said with your 2 little girls, and you want to be there as a dad, right?
Yeah. My thing is that I'm really big on habits and prioritization. So my number one priority in my life are my daughters, and everything comes second. And therefore, having lots of different multiple revenue streams is great, because if I ever misstep on something, then I have other things going. But my children will always be number 1. My career is number 2. And actually, my love life is number 2. My career is number 3. And then everything else, if I have time for, I do. But those 3 things keep me quite busy. Awesome.
Sounds wonderful. I love that. Well, thank you so much for doing this, Michael. Really appreciate it. I will make sure that you've got, let's see, a website and a Twitter account. I'll include those. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. If people can find me through storyinstitute.ca is probably the best way for people if they want to say hi or hello, or the Twitter handle or anything like that. I always love chatting with people that have ever had any connection to what I've done.
For sure. Yeah, sounds great. Well, thank you. Stay on camera. I just want to say thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed meeting Michael Coleman and finding all the things that he's involved with, and especially what his priorities. I think that's awesome. If we could all get our priorities straight, the world would be a better place. Anyway, thank you, everybody, and peace out.
A sense of community till it wax a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.